Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back taking a look at a Caitlyn supplementary guide, and we haven't taken a look at Caitlyn basically at all that much. I think we've only had one Caitlyn video, the Caitlyn updated complete guide on Stormraizer Caitlyn, which I still believe is Caitlyn's far and away best build, just because of how Stormraizer helps her with her early game and makes her more oppressive, and the slows can let you run people down, etc. But of course there are matches where you have heavy burst on the enemy team, assassins, etc., and Shieldbow then becomes necessary. So this is basically just going over a Shieldbow build. It's honestly pretty straightforward. It's basically identical to her Stormraizer build. You're just subbing in Shieldbow instead of Stormraizer, and yeah, so Shieldbow, of course, you get the starting AD, the starting attack speed, as well as a little bit of crit, and of course a little bit of physical vamp, and most importantly that lifeline shield. Then you have Phantom Dancer, of course, for the attack speed as well as the movement speed. We have IE, of course, for the boost in crit damage, as well as giving a huge injection of AD as well. And then most matches you want to go for Maul Reminder for the anti-heal, as well as, of course, the armor penetration. And finally you top it off with a Bloodthirster for, of course, more sustain and more damage. So once again, I'm not going to talk about the runes and the boots because they are going to be changed in the next patch, so no point talking about them now. And for the spells, I've actually tried out Ghost on Caitlyn, and I actually like it a lot. And one of the main reasons for that is because Caitlyn has such a long range that it's really difficult to exhaust anybody. Now, the only time you're going to be exhausting people is if there's like an Akali or a Rengar or a Kayn or some assassin jumping directly on you. It's the only time you'll ever use exhaust. In some games, you do have to go exhaust when there are these kind of champions in your game. Like maybe you have like a Rengar jungle, maybe you have like an Akali mid and an Olaf top. There's no way you can get away against this team comp without running exhaust. So you need to have exhaust in certain team comps, but I think in versus most team comps, Ghost is going to be better because you're barely in range to exhaust anyone anyway. But anyways, with all that said, let's jump into talking about our gameplay. Okay, so straight into the gameplay over here. So now, as I mentioned, you want to take Shieldbow against a team with heavy burst. Now, how heavy is the burst? Well, basically, it's Kayn. Kayn is the burst. Annie is the burst. Well, Kayn is basically my main worry. Now, he has gone for Conqueror, but that doesn't mean he's not going for Shadow Assassin. We know Shadow Assassin Kayn is the most common way to build Kayn, and even sometimes if you go Ras Kayn, some people still build lethality on Ras Kayn. I've seen it a couple of times, so definitely Kayn has a lot of burst, and you're scared of him. We also have Annie, who can basically one-shot us if she gets fed enough with, of course, her Tibbers combo. And then you even have a Ashe and a Shen who can catch you out with CC, and possibly you get burst down there. So Shieldbow is definitely something I want to be getting in this match. Furthermore, another kind of push factor away from building Stormraizer in this match is that Stormraizer works really well against lanes that you can be very aggressive in, and when you're doing really well. But in this lane, we're against an Ashe and a Karma. Karma is a very strong laner, it's a lane bully, and Ashe is also really, really strong. You can see that even though we're playing Caitlyn, we're actually losing versus the Ashe and the Karma. Now, one of the reasons why is because Ashe has only slightly shorter range than Caitlyn. She has the second longest base range after Caitlyn, so you can't take advantage of your range advantage really as much at all. And secondly, Karma, of course, has really, really strong poke and damage in lane. And the third reason is we have an engaged support and not an enchanter support. So engaged support can't really do anything for us at the moment, whereas an enchanter could try to heal us up. But in this case, we can only play for all-ins. And as we all know, from when I discussed way back when in my ADC guide, you basically, a poke lane basically beats an all-in lane. Because if you get poked so much that you can't all-in like what you see here, then you can't really fight. So here I spot a fight happening in the river, and I made the decision to take this opportunity to get some CS. But I see that the fight's not going into our jungle, so now I'm starting to rotate. I'm going back around the other side. Now I probably should have committed to either just pushing or to rotate, but now since everybody's rotating, I'm rotating as well. I'm popping the Ghost to run in and try to help out my team. Here we secure the kill onto the Ashe, and Akshan gets a reset. Here I'm trying to get the Karma, and we do manage to pick up the kill onto Karma, and now we're going to move on to going for the Annie. Now, me and Leona both 1 HP, and we finally are able to actually pick up the kill onto the Annie. And I'm even going to be able to push in this, these last few minions before I'm forced to back off. I'm just going to pop the fruit on the way out to, of course, prevent the enemy team from getting the benefit of the fruit. Now since the enemy team hasn't reached the lane yet, I'm just going to continue on farming. And now that Karma's in the lane, I'm going to just quickly run away. We actually managed to even secure the cannon minion on the way out. So now we are going to, of course, get the reset. And all things considered, that kind of went well. The delayed rotation ended up helping me a lot because the enemy team used up all of their spells. And I was basically able to just go ahead and start cleaning up the kills. So here we managed to pick up the components of Shieldbow and we're headed back to lane. So despite basically having a trash lane, we are now 1-0 and 2. It's pretty rare that Caitlyn has a trash lane, to be honest. But of course it does happen. Akshan here comes in for the roam. I'm trying my best to reach. And here I'm going to flash forward to secure the kill onto the Ashe. And I'm going to ulti to secure the kill onto the Karma. Unfortunately, because of Karma's slow on her Q, Leona is unable to leave the tower range and as a result does end up dying. However, me and Akshan are going to be able to pick up quite a few tower plates because we have double ADCs blasting the tower. So we should be able to pick up like 4 tower plates, because normally an ADC and a support should be able to pick up 3. So here with me and Akshan, we're actually able to pick up 4. Now here we're even greeding to go for the whole tower, or rather I'm greeding to go for the whole tower. I think we could have maybe tried to force first tower. Akshan, however, is a little bit low, so we're going to have to be forced to back off and reset. Akshan also has to kind of catch the enemy Annie in the mid lane. Here, the Ashe tries to get a stun onto the Akshan to interrupt his back, but Leona tanks it, so Akshan is able to back and go mid. Diana is able to actually cover in the mid lane and pick up the CS there, while Akshan is on the way back to the lane. But overall, we've had a very positive outcome so far. We have a lot of gold to spend, and it's about 30 seconds out from dragon spawning. So we're going to complete our Shieldbow, maybe get ourselves some item components to start building towards the Phantom Dancer, and we do get a longsword together with a glove. So anyways, now ironically, despite once again, this is a really tough lane for me to play in. Despite this, I'm now 3-0 and 2, and honestly, it's just because of that jungle fight combined together with Akshan actually roaming and ganking our lane. So really appreciated help from our teammates here. Sometimes you do need your team to, of course, get you a hit, but that's of course not going to happen in every match. So here Dragon has of course spawned control ward onto the Dragon to reveal the enemy ward. Akshan finishes off the enemy ward. We're basically just going to DPS and blast this Dragon down. Ashe Arrow does come in, gets the stun onto the Diana, but doesn't really matter. Diana gets the smite and we are able to, of course, secure the Dragon. Now next up, enemy team is most likely doing Herald because of course the jungler is Kayn and Kayn is missing, so we can assume that he's doing the Herald. My team is going over to contest, and indeed he is on the Herald together with Shen and Annie. They do secure the Herald and a fight sort of starts to break out, but honestly that fight is really good because it kind of distracts the enemy team from putting down the Herald, which allows me and Leona to secure first tower of the game. Right, so now we're going to be able to clear out this minion wave as well, and with our tower down we can now start rotating around the map. Of course I'm going to first back and maybe pick up some item components, or yeah, we pick up the Zeal and some boots as well. Finally got those boots in. Strangely enough, my whole team has boots and the enemy team only Annie has boots, which is really weird. But anyways, here we're gonna rotate to mid instead. Akshan, you can see he's heavily roaming, so most of the time mid lane is unoccupied anyway. So we're gonna just basically try to take over mid lane together with Leona and see if we can, you know, get anything done. So fight happening over down at the bottom lane. Here I'm trying to push in the wave and see if we can, you know, perhaps force down some tower plates against the Annie. We do however have to be cautious, because I was gonna say because she has her passive charged up, but in reality her passive just ran out. Ashe and Annie are left in the mid lane. I'm now rotating to bot lane, but only Karma is there, so really not too much of a point. Here I'm trying to rotate and cut her off her escape, but in reality she's gonna be dead anyways. I'm gonna pop the ulti to get the assist. Of course, as I mentioned before, if your ulti doesn't actually fire off but only locks on, it goes on a 5-second cooldown if the person dies. So you can basically use that to get free assists. As you guys can see there, I got basically a free assist, which is of course, you know, amazing. So here gonna of course force down one tower plate which is of course better than nothing. We each get 50 gold. We're waiting for the next wave to come in and try to go for a dive on Annie perhaps. Leona is in position to go in onto Annie, but ends up kind of getting caught out here. Here I once again use the ulti and I am able to get another assist. Here we're waiting for Kayn to pop out. Unfortunately I accidentally blast the wolves by accident, but yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter. We still get the kill on Kayn, and we're able to pick up mid lane tower as well. So overall, despite a bit of hiccups, that kind of dive still ended up working. We ended up picking up 2 kills, and of course it's all good. So off the reset, we're able to pick up our Phantom Dancer as well as some Gluttonous Greaves. Now honestly, I guess I'm not going to talk about the boots, so I guess don't really need to talk about Gluttonous Greaves because no real point there. But I was thinking that I could actually have gone for maybe another boots if I really wanted to. Anyways, here the top lane is actually pushing in, so I'm going to go and head over to pick up top wave. My team's going to rotate over to mid to try to defend the Herald, but Herald's likely going to get a tower for sure. Not much we can do about that. Here I can see Annie and Kayn are actually rotating top together with Karma to try to catch me out. I managed to walk back and dodge the Ash Arrow and managed to walk away. Now I don't know if they're in that bush, so I kind of wait for my team to come over before I walk towards the bush, and it turns out they're all kind of just escaping. So here I'm just clearing out the wave, and enemy team basically gets forced away back to their side of the map. Here I'm waiting in the tri-bush, maybe somebody's gonna walk here, not quite. Here Dragon is about to spawn in 40 seconds or so. We spotted the enemy jungle, which is the Kayn here, and you know, he's just stuck on the tower 1v3, and you know, we're able to just blast him down and just kill him basically. He obviously severely underestimated how much damage we do, especially since he's building Yomu's Ghostblade first item. He doesn't have any health, he's not tanky whatsoever. And here now we're just trying to blast whoever we can. In this case it's the Shen. I'm trying to kill the Shen, but because of the exhaust, I'm unable to finish the kill. Annie comes in with a stun, and I flash away. You can see that the Shieldbow there absolutely saved me. So if I didn't have Shieldbow there, I would have got one shot. But because of the Shieldbow, I live on 1 HP, and I'm able to ghost and flash away, and actually I end up surviving, which is absolutely insane. The moment I get caught by Annie out there, I thought I was dead. But here is another great example of how Shieldbow is able to save your life. So here I pick up a QSS. Because there's a lot of CC on any team. Annie stun, Ash Arrow, Karma Root, Kayn taunt, not Kayn taunt, Shen taunt, and yeah. So here I can see Kayn doing dragon by himself. Here I'm trying to one man contest the dragon against the Kayn. I'm focusing the Kayn because I can't outsmite him anyway, so I'm trying to attack him down and kill him before dragon goes down. But obviously he's you know, I mean, he's not tanky. I wouldn't say he's tanky, but he's not that squishy, so I'm unable to, of course, finish the kill onto him, unfortunately. So he does end up securing the dragon. So here, nothing too much is going on. So we're just gonna head over and just farm the jungle. Here I'm picking up the red buff because since Diana's on the opposite side of the map and she's also AP, it's not too big of a deal if I pick up this red buff, and the fight kind of just breaks out as I'm taking out the red buff. I'm trying to blast over the wall, but I'm really only in range of like the Shen, so I'm gonna have to walk over, and I pop the ghost here. Not Shen, Kayn tries to chase me, so I'm just gonna kite back and just try to attack the Kayn. Shen ults in, and I'm gonna focus the Shen. Unfortunately, Shen is now in the W, so I'm unable to get the Shen. Leona finishes off the kill onto Shen. And in the meanwhile, our Garen is actually pushing and manages to pick up the inhibitor turret with majority of enemy team dead. Kayn, of course, is 1 HP, and Annie is like half HP trying to defend against the Garen. With this pressure the Garen has generated, me and Leona should be able to pick up this mid lane tower because they will be busy defending Garen on the top lane, as you guys can see here. So we should be able to pick up this mid lane tier 2 for free. Karma eventually does try to come over, but doesn't really matter at this point. Now here I'm trying to help out the Garen against the Kayn, but in reality I end up just going over and end up KSing him, you know, instead of actually helping. Now here I get hit by the Ash Arrow at QSS, and I'm trying to run away. I flash away from the slow of Annie's bear, and Karma misses the Q, and I once again managed to live on 1 HP. And I pop the plant, and now I'm back in action trying to help my team perhaps. I try to ult the Annie just to like scare her off. Combo with the Akshan ult perhaps, but Shen ends up blocking the Akshan ult. Annie plus not Annie. Caitlyn plus Akshan ult is a pretty interesting combo if you can hit it onto someone who isn't, who isn't blocking. That could be a really interesting combo. But anyways, here we have reset. Almost got enough for IE, and since there's a blue buff here, I'm just gonna pick up the blue buff. Once again, no one really uses the blue buff very well except for Diana, who is of course our jungler. So I'm just gonna pick it up because no harm, no foul. And here we're just going to just push out that lane a little bit. So here we're going to set up a slow push. You can see that we have a double stacked wave in the top lane, and over time this is going to slowly stack up into a huge wave and push into their top lane tower. And in the meantime, we can perhaps try to contest Baron or something like that. And here a full on fight breaks out. I pop the ghost, I'm just running people down. Annie's trying her best to run away, and Conrad also trying her best to defend. So here, I think we're honestly wasting a little bit of time contesting this mid lane inhib. Maybe should have just gone for the Baron, but we should be able to secure the mid lane inhib the moment the minion wave comes in, like so. And Garen just eliminates the Karma, and Annie is the only person left. So here we finish off the Annie, and we can finish off the game as well. Actually, no, we can't because we don't have minions. So here we end up inting, and Annie picks up a triple kill. Yeah, so we don't end up ending the game, we end up kind of semi-throwing the game actually. Ash Arrow goes between the uprights again, and here you can look at top lane, look at how big that wave is. Shen has to of course respond to that wave. Now in a different world where instead of trying to end the game with no minions, we went for the Baron. The enemy team would have had a problem where they either contest the Baron or they lose their inhibitor to the minions, which was what I was basically aiming for when I set up that slow push. But it ended up not really happening because of course the fact that we ended up all dying instead. Now somehow I haven't died yet. I'm 4-0 and 11. Now I'm triple crit, I am power spike, and now I have of course of course I already have my QSS, which is going to be really, really helpful. Now Dragon is actually spawning in like under 5 seconds, so this is sort of a thing that some people like to do. So, you could call it a trick, but I don't really know if it's a trick, which is to trade Baron for Dragon. Most of the time, unless it's triple Dragon for either team, it's worth it to just give up the Dragon and of course go for the Baron instead. So here you can see we are basically just ignoring the Baron, and we're instead going for, we're ignoring the Dragon, instead going for the Baron, and somehow Kayn just walks in and smite steals it, which is absolutely insane. Like our whole team just pinging the Diana at this point, obviously, and yeah, we have no idea how that happened. Should have been pretty straightforward. We get Baron, we end the game, and you can sort of start feeling when these kind of things happen. It's like you are destroying the enemy team, and now the game is slowly starting to slip away as the enemy team is slowly starting to come back, and they're starting to screw up more and more. Once again, Ash Arrow just randomly goes to Timbuktu, and here I'm trying to ping to go for the tower. So here we want to push in top lane, and we want to push in bot lane in particular, because there's no objectives on the map for quite a while now. The next dragon to come up is Elder Dragon, and it's going to be in like over 2 minutes time. And Baron obviously just got taken by the enemy team, so not too much we can do in that respect. So here I'm just running down the Annie. I'm getting slowed down by Ash, which is getting a little bit of an issue. Tryndamere is trying to run me down. My Shieldbow pops, and I do end up tanking a lot of damage from the Shieldbow, but you can see that there's obviously no escape for me in this situation. However, off of this distraction, hopefully my team is able to pick up the tower. Garen is pushing on to the top lane. The Shen and the Kayn does end up showing up, so Garen is going to have to run. Diana in the meanwhile is able to pick up the inhibitor though, so we do of course have double lanes of super minions going to be pouring in. Diana does die for it, which it arguably is not worth it at all, especially because Diana's the jungle. Now Garen honestly at this point is just kind of mocking them and just having fun. With it, and he's just running away, just having a little bit of fun and trying to bait the enemy team. Here he manages to bait the team long enough for our team to respawn, but unfortunately he does end up dying in the end. So but he does get revived by Akshan, so I guess maybe it's all part of the plan. So anyways, now Elder Dragon is now less than a minute from spawning, so now it's gotten interesting. Here I'm once again pinging to go for an inhibitor because obviously we want to try our best to just push in that last lane, and maybe siege the lane if we can. And here are the other lanes, of course, pushing in because of the super minions, so a lot of pressure on the enemy team in this instance. And you know, of course, my team is still, you know, of course, doing really well. Just in the last few fights have not really panned out the way that I would have wanted them to. And yeah, so 20 seconds from the Elder Dragon spawning. So at this point, you kind of lost faith in our jungler. So instead of doing the Elder Dragon, we're trying to actually get a catch here in the enemy jungle and trying to, like, you know, pick off like someone, hopefully the Kayn, before the Elder Dragon even spawns and before we go ahead and do the Elder Dragon. You know, because with a numbers advantage is going to make it so much easier. But it looks like the enemy team is not really, you know, contesting the Elder Dragon. You can see Shen and someone else like trying to attack Garen at the bottom, not Garen, Akshan at the bottom lane, so they're kind of caught a little bit out of position. Garen is still trying to push in. Kayn, you can see, is getting occupied by Garen here, so me and Dana are two-manning this Elder Dragon as quickly as we can. We do end up getting the Elder Dragon, and now we can turn around for the fight. So now with the Elder Dragon buff, we're just blasting the enemy team and trying to get those Elder Dragon kills. Here I pop the goals to run people down. Annie does go down, and next target is of course going to be Karma, who's the last target actually. But you know, she ends up running away, so we're not going to be able to get her. But with 2 waves crashing into the enemy base, we are going to pick up the victory. So I'm going to leave you guys with the stats as usual. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.